Hey everybody, it's me, CrystoMan2000. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy on the Xbox 360 according to my Starbit number. In this episode, last episode we got lots of stars in Beach Bowl and Buoy Base and lots of other stuff. And in this episode we are going to be finishing off, we'll get close to finishing off Ghost of the Galaxy and Beach Bowl. So it's more post-commentary, sadly. And also the next episode will. So, a very spooky sprint. So, very similar to the beginning. Also, for some reason, Toad's just stranded here. The brigade member. So, since I have nothing much to talk about in these next few videos, I feel like I should talk about something like, I don't know, have some fun things to talk about, stories, but instead I'm going to talk about E3, even though it was like, what, a month ago? And what I'm excited for, and, some things I saw. So, one thing is that there are 3 games that I really want to go over, and that is, Link Between Worlds, Wind Waker HD, Mario Kart 8, and Super Mario 3D World. I'm gonna start off with 3D World. How this mission works is that you're gonna be racing this ghost through the entire thing, and by using pulse stars. So anyways, one thing I'm really excited for in coming up is Super Mario 3D World. That game, I don't really have much to say about it. Like, it seems really interesting. Like, there's a lot of cool mechanics that I'm looking forward to, like the clear pipes, the new cat suit, all that. But one thing that I'm really worried about is that it's gonna go back to the similar way that 3D Land went. That the map is going to, there's not gonna be like secret exits or anything. There's not going to. It's just going to be like a list instead of like an overworld, like let's say the new Super Mario Bros. Games. And that's what I'm really not looking forward to. I'm really sad that if they're just going to start stranding away from like the Super Mario World feel and just turning on into like lists like, oh, you have to do this level, or this level you don't have to do now, but you have to do later in the game to get stuff. And I also die right here. You just see me just fly all that distance. So I'm really hoping that they stop doing games like that. Another thing that I'm worried about is I haven't seen any of the controller uses for 4-player, and what I'm really not looking forward to is if they force you to play using the D-pad on the Wii remote. I really hope that it uses the nunchuck, because if it doesn't, that's going to be really hard to play with. But considering how many buttons are limited to the Wii remote, the normal Wii remote, I feel like almost I have to, because you can't really ground pound in 3D by just hitting the down button. So it's like one of the only buttons that actually have to be used. That and like attack, I think. No, that's sprinting, that's one. Anyways, like, I really hope that they fix that. I really don't want them to do that. Also, the bosses look really interesting. Like, 3D Land, there was like no good bosses. It was just boom boom pom pom, boom boom pom pom, Bowser, boom boom. Like, it got really repetitive, and I hope that when 3D World comes out, they're actually gonna have more unique boss fights, like the one they showed off with the plates dude. Also, what I've noticed in that is that if you look in the background, it's like a carnival setting, and the dudes have plates on their heads. So if it is so-called World 4, then the world would most likely be based on a carnival or something like that. Unless it works like 3D Land and it's just like a random mix of numbers. Like just a random mix, like, oh, a desert level, and then right after that, yeah, a swimming level. Like, it just, I just really hope they don't do that. Next game, I guess. Mario Kart 8. That game is also gonna be really good. I'm really hoping it's gonna be really good. Also, this mission is has a kind of funny line in it. But Mario Kart 8. What I'm really excited for is that they're finally bringing the bikes back, because that nobody uses carts, and carts stink when it comes to drifting. So I'm glad that they're bringing the bikes back. Also, I really hope that they only showed off 8 characters at the E3 demo, and the only new one was Toadette. They have to add more than that, in my opinion, because how the Mario Kart series works is that there's there's usually 2 new characters. Mario Kart 7 had Wiggler and King B and people that you wouldn't expect, and then they just and now they're just getting lazy and doing Toadette. So I really hope that they start adding some more characters that you really wouldn't expect, but are still fun to unlock. Unless those are the basic characters, in which case I'm fine with that. Also, the gravitational thing, I'm really looking forward to how they're going to implement them into some of their tracks. I heard somewhere, on Did You Know Gaming, that, they were originally supposed to, dig through stuff. Also, the mission of this is all you have to do to beat this mission is spin this golden shell away from these guys and you get it. But I heard a rumor that, it used to be you could dig through the ground, and they replaced that with the gravitational pull thing. So, the gravitational thing that allows you to go, upside down on tracks and, do exactly what you just did upside down. I love the idea, except for a couple things. First off, when all these new Mario Kart games, they're starting to change, oh look, you can do this, and another series that's trying to copy Mario Kart, Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, is that their last game was basically they could change stuff. That's what the entire game was based around. Also, I like the line he says, which is, are you even one of my students? And also right there, I tried to throw the golden shell at him, but I jumped in the air, spun, and I threw it backwards for some reason. But, yeah, they basically just stole everything from Mario Kart 7. Oh look, now you can fly. Oh look, now we can be boats. And I really hope that they don't steal the gravitational pull again. And if that's the case, Nintendo should do something about that. One of the only things that I'm really excited to see how they use the gravitational pull is Rainbow Road, and many of you should probably already know why. Rainbow Road is famous for being a really hard track that involves taking place in space, and how many ways you can implement that with a gravitational pull, it's just gonna be awesome. What else? And that's all for Mario Kart 8. What's another game? Wind Waker HD! Oh my gosh, I'm excited for that. So for those who don't know, Wind Waker was the 3D Zelda game that came out for the GameCube. Also, what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to bring the shell up over here, and over to the left of me, or yeah, straight ahead, there's a little chest. You throw the shell at the chest, and it'll make a star appear, and you can get the secret star. So what I'm excited for about Wind Waker HD is that Wind Waker was one of the Zelda games, was one of the most famous Zelda games, and I've never played it because I never owned a GameCube. So I really hope that they don't disappoint me with this. Also, it seems like they're making a lot of new changes to the game, which can either be a good thing or a bad thing. I saw that during the Helmrock King fight where you have to run away from him, now you have to use your grapple hook. So, what that kind of makes me think is that at that point in the game, you barely use your grapple hook until, near the end of the game when you're trying to get the Triforce charts. So, what I'm Yeah. What I'm hoping they do in this game when they make the remake is that if they change the dungeons just slightly, so that you're still always using your items. So, because you know when you have some, especially those old Zelda games, you get the item of the dungeon, and then you beat the dungeon using that item, and until the next dungeon, you never use any of the items for the rest of the game. So, I really hope that I've seen that they've been trying to fix that. Like, Skyward Sword did it fairly well. Twilight Princess and almost. And all of the DS games did a perfect job at that. So if they really want to make this a good remake, I feel like that's one thing they have to do. Also, Ice Mario, you can walk on water. What else? Also, fast sailing. That's gonna be a lot easier because I remember hearing so many people who Let's Played Wind Waker and saying that they lose like half of their video just to cut out sailing near the end of the game. So with this new fast sailing, I'm really excited to see how they do this. What you have to do is you have to bring the Cataclac over with your with the Ice Mario. So what you have to do, when fast sailing, I'm interested in how they're going to actually put it into the game. Because in the original game, I remember you have to, after watching a Let's Play, you have to pay 80 or 90 rupees to get one to buy the sail in Windfall. Is that what it is? Yeah, Windfall Island. And I'm wondering if they're going to actually do it as it's just the same sail, but the way they do it, I feel like it's gonna add a whole new, like what's the word? They're gonna like change the game slightly so that you can get a reward somewhere else that you would usually get, like, I don't know, rupees or something, and turn it into that, like how they did in Ocarina of Time 3D with the Rumble. From like the secret stone to the secret cane or whatever. So that's another thing. What else? Another thing that I know is going to disappoint a lot of people, especially if your name is Cosmo, is the Tingle Tuner has been removed. Now, for those who don't know what the Tingle Tuner is that you can release Tingle in the game, which you have to end up doing to beat the game. The Tingle Tuner, it allowed you to do some pretty cool things, like get a mini, get the, hover boots? I can't even remember what they're called. God, I haven't played Ocarina in forever. Like, you get like a mini hover boots, and you can pay money to get like potions and stuff, or get a bomb when you don't have bombs yet. And what I'm wondering what they're gonna do is that I'm really disappointed that they removed it, because how it worked is that you had to plug in a Game Boy Advance into the GameCube for it to work. But they didn't do that, and they just removed it and turned it into something for Miiverse. I like the idea for using the Miiverse, but they could have like given it to you like immediately in the game instead of just replacing like a fan favorite item. And the weirdest thing is that the Tingle Tuner would work perfectly with the Wii U. Like, maybe you could just turn on the Pro Control. I mean, how the Tingle Tuner was supposed to work is that you're supposed to do it with like 2 people. So what you could do is that they could, if you had the Wii U Pro Controller, plug that in and have someone else use the pad for the Tingle Tuner. So I feel like they just ruined a great opportune moment to actually implement the gamepad into the game, and it just was a bad idea in my opinion that they removed it. What else in the Also, I heard that there were sections of dungeons that were removed from the game, which is why the game's only like, what, 5 dungeons long? A really short Zelda game in that sense, but like ginormously long in side questing sense. But the thing is that I heard that they were originally supposed to be like 2 more temples and they would involve or like, no, I think how it was supposed to work is it was supposed to be like an extra dungeon to get the pearl that you would get from Jaboon, and then a temple. The last temple is going to be based around one of the sages was going to be the person of the island that Jaboon was going to be on. Like, they could have done some great stuff with Great Fish Isle, but all it is that you arrived there, realized he wasn't there, go back to Outset and do some other things. Another thing that I've heard people want to change, but I doubt they will, is the annoying Triforce chart collection at the end of the game. Now, how it works is that at the end of Wind Waker, what you had to do is you had to do some crazy stuff to beat the game. What you had to do is you had to, after getting your finally upgraded Master Sword, you have to collect the Triforce of Courage to get it, and the Courage has been split into 9 different pieces. I think you get 1 right off the bat, but what you have to do is you have to go, so you have to do 3 things here. Actually, more of a 4. You have to find the Triforce shards, but for some reason you can't decipher them. So you have to collect a bunch of money and then pay Tingle to decipher your map. Also, this is Bouldergeist. How it works is that it's going to launch the black blues at you. I didn't mention them, but you can spin them around by grabbing onto their tongues, and they hurt things. And there's a Daredevil run for this boss, and it stinks. And I have a death montage right after it for you guys, so that's nice. Anyways, you have to pick up rubies, you have to pay Tingle to decipher your charts, which was like, what, 4,000 rupees? It's ridiculous, and I've literally know people who never beaten Wind Waker because there's no more money left in the world, and they literally had to like go on grass and cut up to get 3,000 rupees. And the only thing I hope they change is that you can just talk to Tingle and he'll decipher your charts for them. Like, it was tricky enough to figure out Tingle had to do the pay, and then you have to actually pay him. I feel like that just ruins it. And there's not many places that you can get a bunch of money. Like, yeah, the places that you can get the Tingle charts at will be good, but for those who never played the game before, they're gonna think, okay, I'm gonna need money a lot. So they'll pick up like, maybe 1 or 200 rupees, 100 rupees when their wallet is full, and they'll just discard it because they're like, okay, it's fine. I'll probably get an upgrade to my wallet later. And then they do, and then that gets full, and then they just start ignoring how much money they're losing. And then by the end of the game, realizing that you need that much money, like, people already spent like all of their time using their old treasure charts to get money, taking all of the chests that had money in like dungeons, and those chests don't come back. And the only place you can really get good money is entering into certain places when you're trying to get the Triforce charts. So I really hope that they just change it by either lowering the price of him deciphering your charts, or just him not charging you a price at all. So that's my little rant about Wind Waker HD and Link to the Past 2! So, there are 2 things I want to explain here. Nintendo said they were either going to make a sequel to the Link to the Past, which was the first Super Nintendo Zelda game, or Majora's Mask 3D remake, or HD remake, mattering on which they would do. Probably 3D because, you know, Wind Waker HD. But they didn't go out with it, so I think they're... And Shira to Miyamoto said that it's still logged away in his mind that Majora's Mask remake is going to be coming, so that's going to be hopeful to see a video about. Okay, here comes the death montage. So you have to beat the last boss, whose name was Bouldergeist, say hi, and you have to do it with 1 hit, and it stinks. So literally, this is what I said in the video. Let the death montage begin. and then was just silent for the rest of the video, and I get it first try. Just look at this boss stuff. So I'm gonna keep talking about the game now. So what I did notice is that the AI hasn't seemed to change at all. Like, if you look at them, the enemies don't pick up on you, and if you run away, they don't attack you anymore. Like, especially in the trailer when you have the salvos. So I feel like I really don't hope that they literally just get lazy and do that. But I'm really excited for, like, there's one of two things I think they're gonna do, and that's either adding completely new dungeons into, like, cave locations or something. Either that, or they're the exact same dungeon, but they have, like, I don't know, maybe less monsters, a little more destroyed, stuff like that. Like, we should make it really cool, and just, like, take an old dungeon you did and just put a whole new twist on it. Or they're gonna make completely different dungeons, which might be the case, which is basically the same thing I'm talking about, but they're not in the same locations on the map. So I'm hoping that they don't do that. I would really prefer them just doing old dungeons. And another thing is that Link to the Past was not a very large game. It had very few secrets in it that we know about. And considering that the 3DS was able to actually hold an entire game like Ocarina of Time, what I'm hoping they do is that on the title screen for Link Between Worlds is that you can play a 3D remake of A Link to the Past, the original. So the only reason I think this is because it isn't a large game, and they had to make a new what's it called? Design or animation edits for all of the new enemies. I doubt they even changed how the enemy's AI works at all. So all they have to do is just take the original game and add in the new textures for the 3DS. And it can be proven that both of those games, if A Link Between Worlds isn't too long, that they can all fit into one cartridge, considering they were able to fit a large game like Ocarina of Time onto it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Link to the Past, and that pretty much ends off the video. Perfect timings! But I think that'll do it for this episode. So next time on Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy, there will be more post commentary. If you like the commentary, please subscribe, and if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!